oh, in the Whale, Colorado staple. We'll have them on. Great, it'll be good. And then we're like, hey guys, do you understand what's about to happen?
You're listening to the Musicians Help Desk podcast, brought to you by the Music District.
Hey, this is your host Alicia, and on this edition of the Help Desk podcast, we tune in with Eric, Riley, and Nate Valdez of Denver-based heavy rock duo In the Whale. This was taped days before they released their new EP Dopamine and brought down the house at Washington's for their Fort Collins album release. We start by taking some notes from Nate and Eric on how they spot some red flags as a hard touring heavy rock act, and finish with some friendly advice on how not to be an asshole as the opening act. Along the way, we learn a lot about their new EP, Dopamine. I'm here with my co-host, Aaron Roberts, and again, Eric Riley and Nate Valdez. We're going to drop into the conversation.
No, I was going to
Do you
ask
just start out each show?
Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
well, we're kind of
sometimes,
we do. We have apologized because like we always say, like especially on like outdoor events where there's a lot of people present, like not Bohemian because most of the people in Fort Collins know what they're need to be expecting from a band like us. Mm-hmm. But we played this place in southern Texas down by was it Harlingen, Texas? Where was that outdoor festival where they were
McAllen.
And there was kids dancing and stuff and playing and
it's
having
just like,
a nice day
like
and families
like
were
a street ranchero bands, you know, with like the accordion and the matching outfits and stuff, and like they were playing like Selena songs, and then like they had like a funk band, you know, and then In the Whale, you know, because the guy who put the festivals on likes us, you know, so it's just like there's like street vendors and, you know, little kids playing like volleyball, and like, you know, we just go up and just just
before we even start, we're very sorry.
Sorry.
You should blame the promoters for this. This is not our fault.
That's right. I think that's a good. I'm going to start doing that before every show. Just in case. Like, you know what? We're sorry.
Get in there.
We're sorry.
I think a lot of promoters have just bad or good intentions. They just don't understand. Like one time we played in the mountains.
Oh yeah.
Like Film on the Rocks, but for this small town in the mountains, and like the movie they played was Dirty Dancing.
It
You
was
guys
kind
go
of like
great with Dirty Dancing.
it was like Film on the Rocks. They were trying to make
Natural pairing.
to emulate that kind of feel, but in a very small confined space, and like a quarter of the way through our set.
Sound check.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We're sound checking, and the cops came
Yeah.
during
have
the
to
sound check.
You're too loud. People are.
Yeah, people are already calling in
Upset.
noise complaints. We're like,
Yeah.
Well, it's got to happen fairly often for you guys. Like, do you, when you get in those situations where, you know, like, it's not the most optimal gig for In the Whale, how do you get through it? What's your,
Well, now
do you go inward?
We're at a point right now where we can say no to a lot of things. Like, we can already read the writing. Like, we'll have someone from a street festival in Wheat Ridge or someplace come and play our thing, man. I heard my kid likes you. And we can say no to those things. But back in the day, it was a lot of, like, him and I just making internal jokes between each other to make the thing go better.
Sometimes you just bust out a couple cover songs, try to keep the crowd on your side.
Yeah.
A lot of times when people email us, I'm like, here's a link to our music, listen to it, and then get back at me after you've listened to the music.
It's not the typical response. Hey, would you like to play with this show? Are you sure about that?
Well, we have to. I mean,
but then, like, tell them this is here's a little bit about our event, you know, and then we're like, wait, you know.
If you have a spiel to say this is about our event, probably not the best In the Whale thing. Like, we've had this many people, and we have this many caterers, and we've had this many kids play houses and stuff. It's like, that's cool. I encourage you to do these events because those need to happen. We're not the band for that.
You need a cover band.
Yeah, you need someone
You need
that's
to get a
fun
cover
for everybody.
So when you were starting out as a band, was this the dynamic that you kind of started with?
Well, here's the thing. We started out at playing more acoustic kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Right.
Playing off of the first album that Nate recorded. So
Did you actually have an acoustic guitar in that project?
Yeah, the whole thing was acoustic. So like, there's none of those records exist. There's 4 EPs before Cake even existed, because we didn't know what we were doing, and this was just for fun. Because of our other two bands, this was the only thing that was like our outlet.
So it was making a transition into what it is now.
Right.
There's those growing pains for sure, and at a certain point you just have to have the hard stance. You can't. It's like, hey, we're not this anymore. We're not going to do this anymore. This is us now. So people are just going to have to deal with it, and we're just going to have to trudge along,
I want to know more about how you started as acoustic and then got to where you are, the opposite of acoustic. Like, how did that transition audibly play out over those 4 EPs into Cake, or was
really
Cake
strange.
a departure?
No, it was really strange, but Cake was the next step of where we were going. In the Whale, being that it was just me acoustically, and then I gave Eric the CD and said, hey, this is something that I'm doing, and he's like, I want to be a part of it. And then when he started playing, he plays loud. I had to get louder, and acoustic guitar is not really the best vehicle to do so.
Yeah, Nate said, he gave me the CD, and I was like, I was watching him play around town in Greeley. It was just him with his guitar, and I was like, I can play.
Kind of screaming and yelling acoustically.
I was like, I can play, drums if you want to. Just something else. He was like, yeah. And then it sort of transitioned into this, he had his band and I had my band. And this was our sort of creative outlet band, where it was like our other bands weren't going so hot, and it was real stressful and real just those bands that really want to make it, and they're trying really hard to make it and be a successful professional band, and it's
so obvious.
Stinks to high hell. Everyone knows it. It's just like, dude,
it's too.
You rehearse this too much.
Yeah.
You're trying too hard, and it comes off so disingenuous.
Right.
That was both of our bands at the time. So this is we're so stressed out from this thing, our bands, that we're just gonna do In the Whale as we're just gonna play whatever we want and remember why we love music. So it was this acoustic stuff, and then it was songs where I'd play the Casio keyboard with the little drum beat on the keyboard, and Nate would sing, and then
we did stuff. We had bird noises on a tape, just going over and over, and songs without lyrics, and it was just
Can you guys please send us a couple
Hell
snippets
no.
that we can insert in just
No
I
way.
think I still have the we did a whole instrumental record that was just him and I just doing riffs.
So we got this idea from Jay-Z did the Black album, and then he released just his vocal tracks from that album. So you could buy his vocal tracks and remix whatever you wanted with his vocals. So we're we're going to record this all instrumental album and release all the tracks individually, so everyone can just go and mix it on themselves.
And we never released it.
No.
Didn't do it. We have
you're sitting on that.
We have 5 songs.
It was a great idea. But it was
and we just never did it because we didn't know what we were doing, So it was just kind of it was just whatever we wanted to do, with whatever outlet we wanted to do.
Yeah. And so it was super confusing as an audience member. It was really confusing.
Were you called In the Whale?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then? Okay.
We kept the name because we've always decided that it's the hardest thing on it as a band to figure out a record title or the band name. Mm-hmm. So we just keep it.
Yeah,
People know
it's
us
good
as
enough.
that.
So then Cake came out. How did you decide that that was the album that you would stand behind and include in kind of your catalog now?
Well,
you still have that on your site, and this is In the Whale.
Our main bands broke up, and we decided okay, this In the Whale thing is real jumbled and crazy and weird, but we felt like we had a really interesting dynamic on stage as a 2-piece with the drum set up front and stuff like that. So we were maybe we can make this a thing, because we were already starting to hone into sort of a blues grunge rock sort of thing at that point. And at this point we were moving to Denver too, because Nate had graduated and I was getting married. We were all trying to get the F out of Greeley. So yeah.
Sorry, Greeley.
Yeah, so honestly, I love going back there. It's still a lot of fun, but I don't think I'd live there because I had 6 years of hard living there.
Yeah.
Lived in a truck for a little bit, lived in basements, had everything robbed and stolen from me, but can't deny where you came from.
Right.
So yeah, it was let's just try to give this thing a shot. And then we got down here to Denver, ran into Joey Barba, who used to play guitar for Tickle Me Pink and still is a producer. And he was like, let's do something. And then So we got these songs together and did it, and that was sort of the beginning.
And we just decided at that point that because we had an outside source helping us hone in everything, and being that it was the most concise to date, that this was where we're at and where we're wanting to go in that direction. And the sound is honed as we've gone on.
Yeah, with every recording, we've tried to push ourselves musically, stylistically, and stuff. So every recording is a little bit different, but it's just like we got to take another step, you know, and not just do the same stuff again and again and again. So
Yeah, for sure. So that was, Cake was 2012, right? That you guys
Yeah.
put that out. And I remember seeing your names, you know, on marquees in what seemed to me like pretty early on for you guys as a band on bigger marquees. And it seemed like you had quite a bit of immediate, at least, crowd response and success.
Well, we
with-
didn't. I mean, we like we said, there was years before where no one would pay us. We were cleaning out rooms because we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
You know, there's years that like, oh, you played what was the Skylark or the Meadowlark that plays underneath the
Yeah, Meadowlark.
Meadowlark, right?
yeah.
We played there, and I was like, oh my god, I think we were still living in Greeley at the time, but we made $100, and we're like, this is awesome, this is it.
I see the light.
Oh yeah, it was, but
yeah, well,
Wait, you got paid $100?
we made
That's a lot.
it was a
That's
lot of money.
well, honestly,
lot of money.
we got bigger notoriety in Denver first before Fort Collins. We played Fort Collins every 2 months for
five people.
for 3 years, where it was just like, I remember at one point Nate was like, "Should we book Fort Collins?" I was like, "Why? Why?"
Yeah, no one cared.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
In hindsight, I think that being what we were and knowing what was really popular at the time, I don't know if we weren't the right answer. I don't think, and I think that people got tired of Mumford & Sons and stuff like that, and I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah,
but
at that time it was
Yeah.
Mumford & Sons, Lumineers, Churchill was the big Colorado act. I mean, and you had Nathaniel Rateliff when he was a folk artist. So yeah, it was all that, and we were just like the antithesis.
Yeah, we're the exact opposite of
basically.
that.
And I think over a couple of years, I think you're right, Nate. After a couple of years, it was just like people start to get kind of sick and tired of that and want to go elsewhere, and then here's your boys.
Yeah, we've been here, hashing it out at Road 34
You're like,
for
finally.
Yeah, we played this Foco MX set at East Coast, which was nuts.
Oh yeah, I broke a table.
Yeah, a table broke. It was just crazy because we were mad that they put us at this bar. It was so tiny. The stage wasn't
East
even
Coast.
big enough for us.
Yeah.
And so, but we packed the place out, and it was like mosh pits, and the staff was just like, "What is going on?"
At that point, it definitely changed.
Yeah. And then the next year at Foco MX, we played the Aggie, and that was huge. And that same year, we played Hody's, and that was like, I remember on the drive up, we were like, if 100 people are there,
Thank God.
it'll be a good night.
Thank God.
And we sold the place out, which was crazy, and it was hilarious because we got like this. I don't think anyone expected it because they gave us this like deal that was like,
It was a stupid deal. It's like $200, or you get this back end, which is like $3,000.
So it was
It's like, holy
no,
crap!
It was like
they're like, yeah, right. You're not.
it
gonna
was
do
like it was like 80% of the all ticket sales if you cross 200 people or something like that. So we were like, we are rich. we were like, here's a contract. Let's
Yeah, the guy at the front door. I'm like, how many tickets are sold? He's like, 300. I'm like, holy.
Yeah.
Never
Like,
heard.
what?
I don't know 300 people. That's incredible.
Yeah. He
So-
was like, the door guy was like, let's just say it was a success.
He's like,
guys.
mission accomplished, boys.
Yeah.
It's fine. You got it. It's like, oh, okay. But it was the first time to
In
just
typical
like.
snarky door guy fashion.
But
Right.
we've been because we've been beat up for so long, and just kind of like the mentality of the band is just kind of a sarcastic like, oh, how bad is this show going to tank? Or because it had done for so long, and when something good like that happened, Eric and I didn't know how to deal with it. It's like kind of like when someone dies, you're like, I don't know what to do. It's kind of like awkward. I don't know. Should I smile? What do I do with my hands? It's like we don't know how to deal with success when it came to Fort Collins because we had been hitting it for so long.
Do you think that quick, sudden success after really not having success kind of contributes to some of the marketing that you guys have, like the "In the Whale Sucks" and some of the self-deprecating.
Yeah, it's all self-deprecating.
Well, here's the thing.
Lay it on us, Eric.
Here's the thing. Musicians are vain and self-serving and sometimes super lame about that kind of stuff. You know? Like a lot of bands I know would be like, let's make it inthewhalerocks.com. And that's so lame.
It's super lame.
So we were like, just like as the antithesis of that, like, let's just make it inthewhalesucks.com, our website. Because it's just like, come on.
We got to
like,
get at it before someone else does, too.
Yeah. It was like, so I think a lot of our marketing also was like, we're just trying to be ourselves, you know? And we're just a couple of guys who like to talk trash and make fun of each other and make fun of stuff, make fun of our friends. And that just kind of came out in all of our marketing, where it was like, how are we going to stand out? How are we going to be different? You know, all these bands take themselves so seriously, you know, and we think that's a joke. So,
Right. Remind me what you guys did a handful of years back at UMS. I remember you outside of.
Oh, we've done a bunch of stuff.
Tell me about some of the.
Well, one time we dressed up like soda jerks and handed out ice cream or Otter Pops to everybody with all of our show information on it. We've done water bottles where we walked around with like a little container and just gave water.
That's smart.
There's ways you got to figure out. Here's a little advice for the bands listening. You can't just give someone a handbill or a flyer.
They're gonna throw it away.
It's just
Thanks
like saying,
for the trash.
Yeah, Mitch Hedberg said, when someone hands me a flyer, it's like saying, "Here, you throw this away."
Yeah.
Like, so it was like, our old manager had the great idea of passing out zigzags. You know, you put a little sticker on it, your name, set time. No one's gonna throw rolling papers away.
People
like,
want rolling
sweet.
papers or whatever.
Yeah. UMS one year we printed out a giant sign that said, "Hey Denver, quit folking around."
That's
Love
what I
in the whale."
remember.
Yeah.
That's one of
Yeah.
them.
We
And that
posted those everywhere.
Yeah.
Again, back when that folk thing was happening, it was like, "Hey, let's be super obnoxious. Everyone's gonna remember it."
We
And,
got a
you know,
lot of hate from it, but I think people remembered us.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, I played that UMS and I was in a folk band and
Oh,
I
no.
appreciated it. I was like,
Sorry.
I was like, I'd rather play something else. This is just all I got right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I felt it.
And that
I felt
year
it.
we played the Banana Stand, the house party at UMS, and that was Nathaniel Rateliff, Churchill.
Oh, that was Stackville, wasn't it?
Like You, Me, and Apollo, those kinds of bands, and then here comes In the Whale, just harshing everyone's mellow.
Oh man, yeah,
It was just
everyone was
like,
having
hey,
a
man.
great day, and we just
Yeah. At that point, we were just leaning into that, just like, is it cursing okay on this?
Yeah.
Yeah. We were like, fuck it, man. Let's just do this. Like, let's just.
yeah.
Because people were going to talk about that. Like, I was watching all these folk bands, and In the Whale just came and just fucked
shredded
up.
the
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
I think I broke their little backstage patio and fell into stuff and broke my amp, and then Tim sang with us from Churchill, right?
Yeah.
He sang
Uh-huh.
a song with us. Yeah,
Shall Not Be Moved?
yeah, it was good. So it was like a weird connection where we were able to keep those fans as well as make them angry a little bit.
Yeah,
You
I'm
need to be
sure it
pushed,
was.
man.
I'm sure it was refreshing.
People need to be pushed a little bit.
I'm sure it
Yeah.
was refreshing.
Absolutely. So, at what point in sort of the development of this is a band where you guys like, okay, let's get out of Colorado. Let's
Early
start
on,
touring.
I think we made it a very, very definitive decision to go and get out of the state. Because what had happened, or what we had seen with our cohorts and people we respected that were our senior class, so to speak, is that they were very complacent with being the local hero. So we didn't want that. We wanted to make sure that this can translate not only to the Denver and Fort Collins and Greeley, but also that this can work in Seattle, this can work in Vancouver, this can work in Florida, this can work in Boston or wherever. We wanted to make sure that what we were actually doing was well received everywhere, that we're not just crazy, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of the bands we were playing with in Denver also were just kind of following them, like the Photo Atlas and the Epilogues and the Heyday, like all those bands toured.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like, I want to kind of be like those bands, so we wanted to do that.
So we emulated a lot of that and learned from whatever we could from learning on the road. And
Did you buddy up with some of those bands to
Yeah,
tour
our
early
first
on?
ever tour was with the Photo Atlas.
Cool.
Yeah. We didn't. I don't think we toured with the Epilogues ever.
we
Or in-
played one show in Boise with them. I
Yeah.
thought that was strange. They were like, "Why are you guys here?" And they're like, "Why are you here?" And it just kind of worked out. We were in the same place at the same time.
I think also going back to what Nate said, like a lot of our peers in the local scene, like we'll watch them go out, you know, for like a week-long tour or something and come back just devastated because
they're not the big fish anymore.
Right.
When you can sell out a show, you know, 300 people or whatever in your hometown, and then you go to Albuquerque and no one's ever heard of you or cares, you know, that's a huge,
it destroys your ego.
Blow to that ego.
Yeah.
And it's tough, and a lot of people can't handle that emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, for sure.
And we've already set ourselves up for self-deprecation, so we're like,
you're ready for it.
just
You're like,
pile it
give me
on.
some more of
just
that.
keep.
Give me another shitty one.
Yeah, hey, another terrible show? Awesome. We'll be back in a week.
So, did you have it kind of in your long-term strategy? Like, this is just going to suck for a while, and this is going to be really hard.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've always said also that we're a slow burn kind of a band. Like in the case of Fort Collins, it took 4 years before anyone cared. So we knew early on that it was going to be an uphill battle for us as a band, and the only way for us to really be successful is just to hang in there and just keep pushing. You know, it's like, well, here. You want ice cream? No, I don't want ice cream. You want ice cream? No, I don't want ice cream. You want ice cream? You want ice cream? No, I don't want ice cream. You want ice cream? Okay, I'll take the ice cream.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're going to want some damn ice cream. And guess what?
We're the ice cream.
We got ice cream.
You're the ice cream guys.
We got ice cream.
Wait, I thought you said Otter Pop.
Well,
no
yeah.
one.
I appreciate ice cream better.
I do.
So you were
that's hard to
touring.
pass out
expensive.
at a festival.
Yeah, it is.
It'd probably be good, you know,
Ooh.
just extra messy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you started out just touring independently, or you were teaming up with some friends. Do you now work with some management? You have some help booking?
We have a management. We don't have help booking.
We do all the booking ourselves.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
You
Shout
guys
out to any
play-
booking agents who want to take over for us.
Yeah.
And what management company are you working with right now?
I don't know what the name is
It's-
because they
it's-
just switched.
Pearl Group Entertainment.
Oh, it's Pro Group.
Okay.
Yeah. His name's John. He's been killing it for us lately. He manages Daughtry as well.
When
And
did you
a
sign
couple
on?
other- a year ago.
About a year, yes. Hasn't been very long.
What sorts of changes have happened since he started managing you that you've really noticed that's taken the weight off of kind of the administrative stuff of the band for you guys?
You know, the things that I see that are the biggest are like helping us out have the extra reach. When you're a band our size, we don't have a long reach, you know. We do have connections and people that are local and promoters in certain cities, but he's the guy's like, let me just call up the guys at Facebook and get this figured out. Or let's just call up the people on Instagram and get you guys verified as an account. It's just like, how do you do that? Or let me call my friends in Spotify and they're just going to hook you up with all this stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. You know, it's things like that that take off a burden. I mean, already we do so much because we do all the writing. We have to go and book all the tours. We have to advance all the shows. We have to maintain the vehicle. We have to fix all of our own gear. We have no other help. We just do it all of ourselves. So having that one thing is like, wow, it's huge.
Right.
Now that being said, he's not a magician.
Yeah.
He can't just materialize opportunities.
That's your job.
Well, trying. Yeah.
Yes.
But also, like, he's been a great, like, voucher for us, you know? If we were to just send a cold email to whoever, it's not even going to get opened.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I know him.
But
Let me
if
hit
it's
him up.
from him, you know, we know we're going to at least get in the door. So.
Right. That helps.
Did he have anything to do with this this latest album that you just recorded, The Connections with 606?
Case in point, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the Foo Fighters studio.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this album. It's called Dopamine.
Yeah.
Let's set the stage a little bit. 6-song EP coming out in August.
That's
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
And it was recorded. Now, let's
At
say.
Studio 606. Yeah. That's their personal studio.
The Foo
it's not,
Fighters,
It's not
right?
open to the public. They only let their friends record there, you know, and it's their practice space and their storage space. So it really took John knowing their studio manager for us to get in there to be able to
Right.
record.
He's
So-
like, let me just call them up, see if they have any time. Like, we have 2 days. I'm like, we're flying to LA in 2 days.
yeah.
Or it wasn't LA. Well, I guess.
It was LA.
Yeah, northern LA.
So you recorded the 6 songs in 2 days.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the first day was like, we flew in the night before, super late, got in. next morning, because we only had 12 hours a day. I say only 12 hours, but 12 hours is a long time. Got into the studio, and he picked out the drums with our producer Steve Evitz, who's done awesome records and stuff, like some of his favorite and my favorite records ever. And they worked on just getting guitar sounds, drum sounds, bass sounds, and then the way we did it this time is we played it live in the big room. That's why we wanted to do
So
Studio 606.
Steve saw us play in Long Beach, and he was like, I need to record, we need to capture the live sound. He's like, I love your other recordings, but we got to get this going.
And you'd worked with him before on other records? This is the first time.
First time.
Another friend of our managers. So he he was like, we need to do this live in the studio without a metronome. And we were like, okay, well, we've done this before. It hasn't really worked out so well. And he's like, well, you know, what you need to do is get a humongous live room with super high ceilings. And then that's when John chimed in with, let's get 606. You know, ceilings are ridiculous.
Yeah, they're like 40 feet tall.
Ridiculous.
Like, no way.
Wow.
And so, yeah, he was just like, and also we need to capture the energy. So we're going to go in there and you guys are going to play it like a show. So you're going to move, jump around, do your whole thing so that the energy, you can hear it in the audio. So we're like, okay. So it was rough.
He's like, at first he's like, this is going to be easy because we're just doing it live. It'll be like, you know, whatever.
All the stuff at the same
No,
time.
like,
We just got to
maybe
get one good take.
Dial back the live.
No.
But it was like, it's like playing a 12-hour show.
Yeah. We were like sweating through shirts and like destroying clothes. It's like, oh my gosh.
And we do
so
stuff.
high.
We do one take and you're like, I need another take now, right away. Do it right now. Just start
Oh
playing.
my God. Did anyone cry?
I almost did the first day.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, we're at the final like 2 hours of our first day, and on the song Teeth, I was so exhausted I could not get it.
Yeah, we just took it. We just like, you
And
gotta stop.
he was like, let's try one. Like, do you think you could try one more time, see if I can do it? And I was like, and he's like, I can tell by your face. Let's just let's just call it a day and come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I think the next day we got it in 2 takes. So
Is that the way that Steve Evitz works, or is that just his
Not
response
always.
to your band?
Yeah, to us. It was like very customized just for us because he's like, I love like Eric said, he loved the recordings we've done in the past. Mm-hmm. He's just like, it just feels fabricated though. It doesn't feel like it's raw or nasty like you guys are. So
that's what makes Steve Evans such a great producer, I think, is you can hear it on all his recordings. It's super like naturalistic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it just kind of sounds like the band. You know, he's just sort of ushering the band to, you know, free all the distractions, just hone into what the band is, you know. So
What are some of the other bands he's worked with?
he's done all the Dillinger Escape Plan albums. He's done Saves the Day, Every Time I Die, Sepultura, a bunch of stuff.
Didn't he just do something for The Cure too?
Yeah, he engineered a Cure album from like 2006.
And did he do any pre-production with you guys? Did he listen to the songs?
Yeah, he knew all the songs because we had been demoing a lot of the material for the last couple months because we took 9 months off after touring for 4 years. Pretty heavy, and we just needed to regroup, so wrote a record, a bunch of songs actually. It was like 18 songs or something like that, and then
And it was cool because he was like, just come down and we'll figure it out. And we're like, okay. So we went down there and he just had his notebook. He was like, let's try this, you know.
And he sat in the room with us while we were working through it. And we just like.
And then he was like, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because we're just gonna overthink all this. So he's just like, okay, got this. Okay, now we're gonna record it. And then that was pre-production. We did like a miniature pre-production for every song.
Every song we would sit and talk about it.
So his pre-production would be like, okay, we're going to switch up the form just a tiny bit on this. And
he's like, why are you singing it this way? Or this part's too long. Let's cut it down. What can we change? What would be a better way to transition? Why are you doing it like that? And we're like, I don't know, because we're like this close to it. You know,
I don't know.
I wrote it that way. It's like, well, why'd you write it that way? Let's make it better.
Did you ever watch Making a Murderer? That Netflix show?
No, I haven't.
You gotta watch it.
Okay.
But there's a whole scene of interrogation where they interrogate like
this poor kid,
his nephew, who's just you know, he's 14 years old and he's just kind of a dumbass. He's just kind of an idiot, just kid who likes WWE and just is like just dumb. And so they're like, "Did you do this?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Why did you do that?" I don't know.
That's kind of how we were. Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
you
yeah, you
pulled it
sing
off.
this chorus 5 times. Why 5? I don't know.
Yeah.
You play this drum fill. It doesn't really seem to fit. Is there a reason you? No, I don't know.
Because I've been doing it.
Yeah, because I don't. Yeah.
So it's always good for someone to be on the outside to like, hey, why are you doing this? Let's make it better.
So you had to work really quickly,
Yes,
and,
yeah.
and you got this done over the course of 3 days.
2 days.
2 days.
2 days.
Yeah.
2 days.
That's fast. Just want to.
It was.
Yeah.
It was very.
Just,
Well, we did it to tape too. So if we made a
Yeah,
mistake,
there's no
like
Pro Tools.
start over.
Cut, copy,
So they're
paste.
all live takes. They're
Yep.
cool.
But we have a lot of experience playing quickly because we're poor as hell.
Yeah.
So a lot of the recordings we do, it's like, all right, how much is studio time? This much an hour? Okay, we're gonna have all these songs dialed in and ready to go, and rehearsed, so we can just go in and just boom. I got it in 4 takes. All right, next, moving on, because we don't have any money. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Right.
like Quicksand, our last recording we did, the blasting room. We finished a day early.
Yeah.
Because we were just
Like,
like,
what do we
let's
do
do it.
now?
Let's keep doing it. Let's
Yeah.
just keep going because we're broke, dude.
And Bill Stevenson produced that one. Is that correct? And I thought in some reading that I was doing that was done mostly live as well. Like there wasn't a whole lot of addition to what you guys were doing.
It wasn't played live, but
No.
it was
I feel
very
like-
simplistic.
Yeah. We.
Played true to your live set.
Right.
It
Right.
was mostly just bass guitar, drums, vocals, a couple lead parts here and there, and then a couple like tambourine, cowbell kind of stuff, and that's pretty much.
And we had a full day with Bill just to sit and actually produce every single song. So there was a difference in that. There was a more of a thinking it through kind of like long term. With Steve Evans, it was so fast and organic. Like, well, not saying that Bill's wasn't, but it was a different style,
Yeah,
different,
he was
different
like-
way of doing it.
He was like, we got to catch this on the fly in the moment, so we just got to make it all in the moment. That was the feel he wanted.
How are you feeling about the E EP?
It's fucking awesome.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Like when I first heard it, I was like, wow, this is really sonically different than anything we've ever done because it's real big and boomy because of the room, and it's on tape, which is also another feel. And then it's just mean and heavy, and
It's
I don't know.
definitely another step for In the Whale, and I think we're gonna lose.
Yeah, we're gonna lose some fans.
some of the guys with patches on their jean jackets are not gonna really be into it. It's not as punk rock as it was.
Right. It's a little heavier though. I would
more
think.
into the metal
A
realm.
little bit.
Let's just assume you're gonna make some new fans.
Yeah.
Let's-
It's more like caveman. Like it's
Kind of Helmet. Do you know the band Helmet?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, where the drums are just like,
Yeah. Bang, bang, bang,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Everything's
really-
just like primeval.
I thought you were referring to some band named Caveman.
oh,
like-
Oh no.
that would be a
I-
great name.
It probably is. Seems
Yeah.
like that would be taken.
There's
But
tons
no,
of bands
you
that
were
are like that, yeah.
referring to style of Caveman.
Right.
You talked a little bit about writing 18 songs for this record. How do you guys write songs? What does that process look like?
We've tried a bunch of different ways. It always, I think, for us, what best is I'll give an outline or the skeleton of the song, like kind of like what I'm wanting to do lyrically, and then just kind of the melody, and then I'll bring it to Eric, or even before that, I'll show him a riff that I'm working on, and he'd go, meh. Or that's good, because he's got a real decisive ear compared to me. I'm like, this is so cool, and he's just like, it's busy. You just can't hear what's going on, So I'll make the skeleton and just kind of bring it to Eric, and then he'll bring in everything else. Like, well, you can add harmonies in this part. The chorus is strong here. So we kind of self-produce between the two of us, and that seems to work. I think in the past we've tried different methods, but that just seems to be the best route for us.
Yep.
Yeah. Super simple.
It seems like you'd be pretty nimble as a two-piece, being able to work quickly
Yeah.
in terms of songwriting.
You would think so. Yes. Songwriting, yes, but when it comes down to it, it's just kind of him and I just going back
Yeah.
and forth. There's no tiebreaker.
I know.
So there's not a third person. That's why we like working with producers so much, because it's like him and I. That's great. That's great. That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. That's
We're
great.
just over here just like complimenting each
It's
other. Like,
working
ooh, yeah,
amazing.
you're so awesome.
Thumbs
We're
up
so
all the
awesome.
way. So cool. So cool. We need someone to come in and go, that's dumb. Why are you doing this? It's like,
Right.
oh, man. Oh, come on, man.
I actually don't think that many bands have that outlook. It's probably why you've been so successful.
Yeah.
Is that I think getting critique is so scary and threatening to so many
For
people.
sure,
That was
man.
the hardest thing when it came to Cake, when we first used a producer. Like, there was a point where we got the mixes back, and I just called Eric, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm so unhappy, because I had to let go of what was, quote unquote, my vision for something, and to actually have someone say, we're going to make this better. Instead of saying someone is trying to destroy it or change it, it's we're working as a group. And it was only after then that I'm like, oh yeah, producers are great. But it was after that point, I was like, I had never done it before, so it was really hard for me to say I wrote this song for the last 4 months in my basement. I have all the guitar parts, and he's changed it.
Don't you tell me my baby's eyes aren't beautiful.
Well,
Right.
That's
exactly it.
It goes back to like, you gotta be open. You have to be open, and you have to like think about what's best for the song. Like, not what's best for me or you or the producer or whatever. What goes best with this song? What's best for the song? And that's, hey, you just gotta.
And you may not, and you probably won't know the answer.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because somebody else might. But you have to be open to that, or let that door open so someone can actually say, tambourine flying in,
Yeah.
you put that son of a bitch in there.
Also, I honestly think, a lot of the stuff that we argue over, our audience isn't even going to give a shit about. If I'm going to play the right cymbal on this chorus, or if I'm going to do an open hi-hat, you can argue about it all day. If the song's good, then the song's good.
Right.
So it's like, hey, at a certain point, it doesn't fucking matter, man. Is the song good? Okay, then just choose something. And I mean, come on.
Right.
Same thing with mixing. Like, the mixes is like, ultimately, is it right or is it not right? We can nitpick all these little parts if we want, but ultimately, man, is it a good song?
Right.
Then people are gonna like it.
Well, and that's the beauty too of doing live takes onto tape is you don't have that cutting and splicing that
Right.
you get into when you.
Right.
I mean, you listen to those old Motown songs that are all on tape. It's like, dude,
He was flat in that part.
yeah,
He couldn't
it's
even
like
sing that part.
His voice cracked. And nobody notices or cares because it's just so good.
It
and
felt
it's about,
good, yeah.
And it's about the performance. It was a great performance, and yeah, his voice cracked or something, but nobody notices because it's just they're too busy dancing.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, even on this one that we did, I'm like, this is the best take we did, and it sounds great. There's a part I missed.
Yeah.
No one's going to notice because there's other stuff going on, but that's clearly a note I missed. But
Yeah.
you have to look at the bigger picture, and we're learning that, That's something that you just don't, like, out of the box. Hey, you got to look at the big picture, guys.
Do you think it takes a little time and a little distance too? Like
Oh, yeah.
these first few recordings, do you think that it just takes a little time
have to learn how-
separate yourself from how you thought it was
You're
going
right.
to be all along?
Yeah, I mean, with those first songs, we had sat with them for so long, so we were very accustomed, like, this is how they are, and that's it. So when you hear it, and it's not that, your mind's like, what are we doing? But then now, I mean, in the frequency that we're writing things now more swiftly, we have a little more bake time, So it's actually being cooked with somebody else's ears in the meantime. So it's not just like we've played the Cake EP for the last 4 years before we recorded it. So it's a little different.
Right.
What are your plans for this fall after you release the album?
I think giving up is the best.
Well, In the Whale sucks. So.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. We're gonna tour our butts off. I know we're gonna do that. We're out almost all of August.
You've
September,
already
and-
booked that.
Yeah.
We're
and then-
October 26th, the last day we have.
Yeah, all of August, and then we're supporting Authority Zero from late September to late October.
Right.
So, touring a lot, we've always thought of ourselves as a live band. I feel like 90% of the people of our fans we have are fans because they saw us live, and just about all the opportunities we've ever been given have been because of someone watching us play live. So,
Yeah, that's true.
we're a live band. We got to get out there and tour if we're going to get anywhere. So, we're doing that.
Yeah, and you guys have opened up for some amazing artists on tour. You think a lot of those opportunities came from other live sets?
Definitely.
100%.
Yeah.
Cool.
Here's a great story. We were playing with Jane's Addiction at the Ogden a couple years back. So we're up there. It's really
I thought that was the end of the story. I was like, that is
No.
great.
Oh, that'd be
Yes.
cool.
Great story.
That would be cool.
Awesome.
Put a bow on it. It's
I
done.
know.
So we're in there sound checking, and this dude walks in. He watches us play a song, and then walks away. And Nate goes, "That's their tour manager." And I was like, "How do you know that?" He's like, "Because he's wearing a hoodie and gym shorts, and it's December." I was like, "Yep, you're probably right." So we get done. We're packing up. Done with sound check. We're like striking our gear and stuff. And he comes up to us and he's like, "Hey guys, man, you guys are really fucking good." He's like, "I tell you what, man, these fucking local bands on this tour we've been doing locals every show. I fucking hate them, man. I fucking hate local bands. If I had my way, man, it'd just be only us and only us, man. But so you guys are really good. Thank you for being good. Sorry we fucked you over on the dressing rooms." And he just turned around and walked away. And we're like, oh, because they're like the dressing room's off limits. You know, they have the whole run of the place. And then later, he's like, "I want to see you guys waiting in the wings 15 minutes before you go on." I'm like, "Okay." 15 minutes, we go on the wings. He's like, "In all my years of being a tour manager, not once has an opening band been there at the time I asked them to."
Yeah, he's like, I'm 30 years in.
Yeah.
Not once.
So we're like, "Okay."
I was like, well, that's pretty
cool.
square.
Yeah. So we play our set, and it's amazing, of course. It's a sold out Ogden. We're back at the merch table selling merch, and he just comes off and he's like, "Guys, I'm telling you right now, I'm sick of these fucking local bands. Fuck all this. Will you guys just come and play the last 2 shows with us?" We're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
He's just like,
And this isn't the first time it happened from seeing us.
We had to, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we played another show at the Summit just randomly because we were in town, because the Darkness was in town, and their local or their support that had bought onto the tour couldn't get into the U.S. because one of them had a felony,
Yeah,
so
they're
they couldn't
from
even
Canada.
get into the U.S. Right? So
Yeah,
they're like,
here's what's crazy. This band spent 5 figures of money getting onto this tour,
yeah,
and
a lot of money.
I had to do that in my.
Yeah. They're from Canada, so they're supposed to do like 3 weeks of shows.
Right.
They could only play Vancouver and Toronto because they couldn't get in the States.
Yeah, we couldn't do it. So anyway, we were luckily in town, and someone from the Summit calls me as I was going to my grandparents' cabin to go and visit them. They said, "Turn around, we want you to play." I'm like, "Okay, we're going to play the show." That's another thing people don't talk about is like how much you sacrifice, like family time, or how many funerals I've missed, or how many
I have a follow-up question about that.
weddings, and just things you've missed.
I have to say, thank God for the Summit Music Hall for having a green room that is only a dressing room that's only a curtain. There's not a physical door. It's a curtain from behind the stage, and that's just the barrier.
Right.
So the Darkness is in their dressing room. They have to listen to us play. They can't shut us out because it's just a curtain.
And halfway through our set, they all came out, and they were like, "Wow, that was awesome." So it was really strange to get that. And then directly, once again, we went to our merch booth, selling our thing, doing our thing, staying out of everyone's way. And then their tour manager comes over. "They want you to go on the rest of the tour. Can you guys do it?" I'm like, "We can do a good chunk of it because then we're going out with the Toadies. So, yeah, we'll do as much as we can." But it was like, because of them seeing us.
Yeah. And then he's like, "First show's in Minneapolis in 2 days. See you guys there."
We're like,
Fuck. So the next day we're in the van. Next morning, 8 o'clock, in the van, driving to Minneapolis, on the phones calling our bosses, saying, "Hey, we can't come in.
Yeah.
This happened."
Yeah, we've sacrificed so much in the fact that you just have to go sometimes.
Got to be ready.
You're like, I may lose my job.
Yeah.
I guess for this little tour, I could lose my job.
And that's really
How do you have jobs with
It's good
130
in-
dates a year?
That's a good question.
Job? What job? This isn't your job.
What's a job?
What's your music job?
I work at Illegal Pete's, which is very sympathetic to musicians. So I've been very lucky in that sense because I've been doing service industry my whole life, and band schedule and work schedule is always butting heads. So that's been really cool for me.
And Illegal Pete's has a record label, so they're
Yeah, they're
very supportive.
very supportive. And I work at a mortuary, and I also work on homicide scenes with the Denver County Coroner and picking up dead bodies.
Wow.
Yeah.
They just let you come and go. You're like, I need to.
Well, it's a very hard job. And I grew up in a mortuary. My grandparents owned one, so at 15 was the first time I saw somebody that was deceased. So I've been around it a long time. But when I moved from Greeley, so when we made the big move down to Denver, the economy was really, really super tough. So I couldn't find, honestly, a job that was able to support me, that would let me leave. And I just applied to a few mortuaries in the town, and I've been there for almost 8 years now. And yeah, it's a hard job, so they always have me back, thank God. I go for months and months at a time, but, not a lot of people can do or see what I have to see,
Oh, I can't imagine. And then as far as working for you work for the Denver Police Department
Denver
then?
County Coroner.
Denver County Coroner. Okay.
Whenever there's a car accident or there's a shooting or there's a fire that's killed a bunch of people, I'm the guy or a suicide or a drug overdose or people been cut to pieces or whatever. It's just horrible things that happen. The coroner needs to be there to investigate. I'm the guy that comes and helps them put the loved one into, transport them to the coroner's office.
Oh my gosh. How does this come out in your music? Do you think that your music has gotten harder and more aggressive in response to like having to deal with how do you deal with this on a day-to-day basis when you're back home working?
I think I'm pretty much the same mellow temperament. I do get angry from time to time, but I don't think I ever like.
That has more to do with traffic than
I don't respect traffic. I don't respect. I mean, why are people out? Why can't you just be home?
Yeah, there are times when I'll be like, "Hey Nate, let's schedule." I'll text him like, "Hey, we need to schedule a practice, or we need to do this, or get this done, or whatever," and he'll be like, "Hey, I'm dealing with someone who just hung themselves in a Motel 6 right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and get back to you later."
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So Eric, you can never complain about a bad day of work. You can never be like, "I had this
Seriously.
customer today.
Yeah,
They
for
were
real. This
terrible."
customer asked for fajitas, and we were out of fajitas, and they were so rude. And it's, oh, really? Oh, cool.
Yeah, I don't really talk about it. Like, honestly,
Yeah,
I just out of respect for people, because it's
So private.
well, it's not necessarily private. It's just a downer. A lot of people don't want to know about all the people that got murdered in Denver last month. No one wants to know that. Yeah. And I mean, I don't want to carry that with me. So it's just my job's my job, and I can do it well, and I can be in terrible situations where there's maggots everywhere, and I'm getting sprayed with body fluid and stuff, and it's just like, it's fine. It's fine.
I mean, I'm not sure where to go from here.
Is this where we end the podcast?
I was actually going to ask you how you maintain your lives on the road, but I feel like that question just pales at this point.
Well, we've learned a lot of tricks to like surviving on the road, but we learned those from trying to emulate larger bands. We'll sit there with the opportunity, like going on tour with the Darkness, and just sitting there like just eyes wide open, watching how they move, they do.
Watch their crew. Watch all these bands' crew and how they set up, and like,
right.
I've always shied away from doing the merchandise display in the suitcase, where you lift up the suitcase and all this merch is in there, because I don't see any of the bands I've toured with do it. They all hang their shirts up, They
tape their stuff to the desk, and we learned, like, why are you doing that?
Because drunk people come up and go, "Oh, it's so good," and
they destroy everything. Like, we just learned these things, like tricks of like how to survive, and like.
And when we're on and off, like when we do a quick sound check, that means the headliner, has more time to go get food. When we are on and off stage and under our set time, that means we're tight and the schedule's tight and we're on schedule, and they don't have to leave 45 minutes later than they were supposed to at the end of the night. And they're
very thankful.
And that's like a thing. It's like, hey,
there's a million things that you never knew as a band when we were starting out. Oh, they have a list of local band bullshit that local bands are doing. Don't do all this stuff. It's very simple. Just be respectful of people's time and that they've traveled 8+ hours or wherever.
I tell you what, whenever I hear a friend's story about how they met some rock star or some guy, and they're like, he was such an asshole, he just totally blew me off, I'm like, he was probably just tired, dude. Because I've been on tour for so long. I'm like, you're tired, you're exhausted, and you just want a moment to yourself.
I feel bad because we have a lot of friends that we've met over the whole U.S. and I'll show up somewhere and they're like, "How you doing, buddy? You want to do anything? Let's go eat or do this." And I can't even speak. We just drove 12 hours.
Yeah.
I can't even talk to you.
Can we eat dinner and watch Netflix?
Yeah.
What do you do on the road to stay sane and stay healthy when you're on many days in a row?
Healthy's hard.
Healthy's real hard.
Every once in a while, I mean, we get a lot of like buyouts, so they'll give us cash from the venue. Like, so we'll try and find like a Thai food place or just something that's not greasy, deep fried, like bar food. We eat a lot of salads and stuff. The other thing, so that's a healthy. That's basically the best you can do unless you go to a special store, and not all cities have those. To stay sane, we listen to a lot of podcasts. We do that just so that we can kind of zone out and just think about something else that's not music related just for a little bit, just to take a little bit of a break mentally.
What are some of your favorites?
There's one called Sword and Scale.
It's a murder.
It's a true crime podcast that we love. It's sort of the constant staple of the podcast. Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah.
There's a website called Loveline Tapes, and it's all these old tapes of remember the show Loveline?
Yeah.
The radio show with Adam Carolla. We listen to a lot of that.
Some of them are just so terrible.
Yeah.
Just like,
yeah.
It's cringeworthy.
Yeah. Jamie
Like
Josta.
not PC anymore.
Well, no way.
No, you can say half the stuff that was said back then. I was just like,
No way.
you can't say, don't say that. Ooh.
Yeah.
Jamie Josta, the singer of this hardcore band Hatebreed, has a podcast.
Yeah.
It's just about the music business and heavy music that we listen to a lot.
That's cool.
A lot of
Mostly
music.
because of the business aspect. That's something that's like no one tells you when you start a band that, A, you have to be really good at math. You have to be very good at Photoshop and like editing your own posters. You have to be good at following through. You have to be able to read emails decisively and actually glean out the proper information that they're actually saying to you, and or replying to people in a positive way that they don't seem like you're an asshole, because people are very sensitive now. Mm-hmm. And you want to make sure that, not to baby people, but just like, I need to get something from you in regards to show advancement stuff. I need to word it a certain way.
It's got to come across as not dickish,
Right.
but it also has to be firm.
Right.
I tell you what, all my friends that say I'm a musician because I could never work an office job, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, we are the biggest.
That's it's all office work.
We're in Kinko's all the time. He's ordering merch. He's restocking inventory. I'm fixing a vehicle all the time.
It's all emails and phone calls. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Yeah, it's 100%. It's like honestly
15% of it is playing music.
or less.
Yeah, it's like, it's so much emails.
Yeah.
It's just, man, we're in Kinko's more than like an attorney is. Like,
I'm afraid to look at my phone right now. It's on airplane mode, and I'm like, I don't want to turn it back on because it's gonna go bing, 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 all the emails because we're advancing for this next tour.
Oh, God.
I'm just like, oh God, please.
So you're welcome. We have this brief.
I have more anxiety now thinking about what's to happen
Oh, no.
dude,
because I can't let it be.
I tell you what, man. I'm not talking about anyone in Fort Collins, or really Denver, or really Colorado. Most of the promoters in town are awesome.
Yeah.
And Colorado is spoiled in that way. But a lot of these promoters, a lot of these bands, we just have to fucking babysit them. Like, we gotta be like, hey guys, the show's in a month and it's not up on your calendar. Could you please put that up on your calendar for us, please? And we also need a ticket link.
Could you give us a ticket link?
So that our people that want to come to the show can buy tickets. And
Oh,
like,
wow.
oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll get right on that. And then a week later.
And then we send them the artwork and everything. And
Yeah. Hey, guys, could you do that for us? Like this. God damn.
so many.
Yeah.
It's
That's right.
babysitting.
That's why we're doing this podcast, you guys, so that these bands out here can hear you saying this stuff.
We could do, we were once asked to do something for like Folk OMX as like a Q&A, and I was hoping to God they would ask me. I have books on what bands need to do because no one told us. We would love to tell people information of like, hey, you want to make sure that you're successful somewhat or not to be a jerk at the bigger bands like you? These
No,
things.
this is good. I want to have you guys write. We have an advice column. It's not Love Line. type, but it is
I would
like
love to do a
it
love line
is
type
a
of
music.
dear.
Love line.
It's
Maybe
a
not
dear
about
help
sex, but
desk.
about music.
Yeah.
You know what I would love to have you guys write? Dear help desk, how do I not be an asshole as a local band when I'm
Right.
opening up? What should I not do?
Oh, one of the biggest pet
easy.
peeves that we have for local bands, and it just blows my mind. It's like we're on a tight schedule. We have things to do. There's people here that are making their livelihood on this, and you're taking your cymbals off on stage. Get your shit the hell off the stage. You can break it down there all fucking night, but you're burning our time right now.
Just
So,
like
taking the cymbals off, putting them in the bag,
putting them in
put
the
the-
case. Yeah,
Get the fuck off the
That's
stage.
that's the biggest thing is when you're done, move your fucking ass off of that stage. Move it.
Yeah, that's a thing all throughout the U.S., all of Canada, all of Europe. Well, Europe's different because they're borrowing all of our shit. No one brings their own.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's weird. It's like the weirdest dynamic, and it's not just us saying that. National bands, they're like, "Did they ask to use your gear?" I'm like, "Yeah, why? What is that?" They're like, "They live 5 minutes away and they couldn't bring their amp."
Yeah.
Like,
it's
what? Why are they using my amp?
We flew halfway across the country and rented this shit.
Yeah, you could use it. It'll cost you. You look at
Yeah,
your like.
seriously, dude.
Per hour.
Right.
This goes for.
But that's a different thing. That's a different world.
I think it's because everyone uses public transportation in Europe.
Yeah,
so
I
they
think
get-
that's maybe the better answer.
Well, you guys, this has been such a great conversation. Really, really.
We just started. We just like, please, we got a lot to tell people.
I know. I really want to. We're
word
gonna have you
vomit onto
do. We're
you
gonna have
guys.
you do this column because
gonna
I
have you
think
the
this is
advice
a
column.
valuable piece of even if it's just 5 do not do.
Oh, we could write more than
You
that.
could write 50.
You can go crazy with
we
that.
could write more than that. Are you kidding me? I've got a list on my phone.
Yeah.
Just this. Don't do that. Don't do that.
keep adding to your list.
Yeah, it's
as
just
you
always
go along.
different. People just dump.
I think that would really help a lot of people out. I
One
think it really
band
was
left
just so
all
much.
their amp heads on stage and started hanging out and doing shots with their friends. And I made a pile of all their amp heads in the middle of the stage and started jumping off of them. And they were so embarrassed. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, dummies? You can party with your friends.
Yeah.
Get your shit off the stage.
Yeah. We're working here. This is
This is my job.
This is my city. I'm not even from here. I'm gonna crush your band as hard as I can, but just get out of the way, though.
Yeah. Do you like us just coming on and venting to you guys?
Yeah,
like
this
you're
is-
like
No.
a therapist.
Good. Do you feel better?
A little bit.
A little bit.
I'm a little worried about the phone situation.
We're gonna get you right off.
we'll
on
let
the
you.
phone.
We'll let you get back on the phone. But once again, thank you so much. You guys were really looking forward to your show at Washington's.
Okay, that's it. That's it for us at the Musicians Help Desk podcast and it for In the Whale. If you dig In the Whale, check them out at www.inthewhalesucks.com. You can find out more information about the Music District and all the exciting things going on around here at www.themusicdistrict.org. This is your host Alicia signing out. Until next time.
Highways and byways take me in, carry